Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and the NBA play-in tournament starts today. From Tuesday all the way till Friday night, we have the play-in tournament, and I'll be honest, this is something I used to not like. But over the last 2 years watching it, I've really started to like this play-in tournament. I've, just thought like 10 teams, fighting to try to make the playoffs. At first, when there was just, 8 and 9 seed. We just had the 8 and 9 seed playing for the 8 seed. I didn't like it, how it was like that. That first year when you had the Blazers and the Grizzlies fighting for the 8 seed in the bubble. And then there wasn't even a real guarantee that there would be in a playing game. Like, there was only a playing game in the West. There wasn't a playing game in the East. So I didn't like it like that. And going into the next year, the NBA changed it. There's first 4 playing games. Then the loser of the 7-8 game plays the winner of the 9-10 game. They fight for the 8 seed. Both conferences. No catches. You don't have to be this amount of games close to the 8 or 7 seed. So that's when I started to like it. It was better basketball at that point. And over the last 2 years watching the play-in tournament, I've really started to like it. And I'm really excited for all 4 of these games that we get to watch over the next 2 days, tonight and Wednesday. So it's going to be really fun. Let's get into the first 2 games that we have tonight, the 7-8 games, starting with Miami, which I'm going to be predicting my predictions. Starting with Miami, Atlanta. Honestly, this is a hard matchup for Miami because, Miami, I feel like they can definitely beat Atlanta. There's no doubt about that. But who does Miami feel like they best match up against? Is it the Milwaukee Bucks or is it the Boston Celtics? Because we don't see it often, but sometimes some of these teams do lose. In the 7-8 game, you'll see, we've seen it maybe once, team maybe trying to actually intentionally lose to give them a better chance if the 1 seed is a better matchup than the 2 seed. But usually don't have a lot often, but the Bucks and the Celtics are both 2 very good teams. I personally think the Heat match up better against the Celtics than they do with the Bucks. The Heat played better against the Bucks this season than they did the Celtics, but I'm not going to say the Heat can upset the Celtics in the playoffs, but I definitely think they can give them a run for their money. I'm definitely going to go out on a limb and say Miami could definitely take Boston to 5 or 6 games. I can say that without a doubt. I think Miami, they've been a sleeper team all season. I think fully healthy in the playoffs, I think they can take Boston to 5 or 6 games. They did it last year. In the Eastern Conference Finals. Yes, Kyle Lowry's gotten older from last season. Bam. But, if you really think about it, they've gotten better since they were last year. Boston's gotten a little better, though, too. But Miami's gotten better since that Eastern Conference Finals. Tyler Hero wasn't playing as good as basketball as he is now. Their problems this season has been health. Jimmy's health, Bam's health. Lowry's had some health issues. If they're fully healthy in this game, this game, I don't know if they'll be fully healthy, but if they're fully healthy in that Boston Celtics series, I think they don't have a shot. I don't think they have a shot to win the series, but they have a shot to take Boston to at least 1 to 2 games, in my opinion. So I think Miami goes for the win tonight, beats the Hawks. I don't think it's going to be an easy win for the Miami Heat. Like, they're gonna have to play hard basketball tonight against the Hawks. I think the Hawks, they could be looking to play the Celtics more than they would be in the Bucks. I think the Hawks match up well against the Celtics as well. I think the Hawks would lose in 5 against the Celtics, but I think possibly I'm gonna go out and say that they could get swept by the Bucks. Or I don't really think they'd get swept. I think they'd probably lose in 5, but I don't think it would go that great against the Bucks. I think they would have their number. The Boston, I think they would lose in 5, but I think that they would play much better than they would, versus the Bucks than the Celtics. So in that case, but I do got Miami winning this one. to move on to play the Boston Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. I think Miami wins. I think it's going to be a close one. I think Miami's going to have to play some good basketball, though. I think Jimmy's going to have a big game. I think Hero's going to provide some good scoring as well. I think the Heat get the win. Moving on to the 7-8 game in the West, the Lakers and the Wolves. The Wolves without Rudy Gobert in this game, suspended one game. I don't think that matters that much. I mean, they're going to miss him with the rebounding, the offensive rebound, defense. But they still have Karl-Anthony Towns. And, they only really need one guy to match up against Anthony Davis. It would have been, unstoppable if they had Gobert and Cat against Anthony Davis. But, stupid decisions come with stupid decisions come with, consequences. So, in that case, they will be without Gobert. And I think the Timberwolves, everybody's going with the Lakers tonight. And I'm going to go with the Lakers. I got the Lakers to move on to play the Grizzlies. But I think the Timberwolves are going to give the Lakers some trouble tonight. I think this will be a close one. I think it's going to be down to the end, if not down to the last 4 or 3 minutes of the basketball game. I expect this one to be really close. And I think the Lakers edge out in a really close one. Then getting into the 9-10 games between the Thunder and the Pelicans and the Raptors and the Bulls. The Raptor Bulls is very hard for me to pick. I mean, I think that could go either way. Both, play good defense. Both have decent offense. It's really hard to pick who's going to win that game. If I go with my gut, I'm going with Chicago. They've been playing really good to the end of the season. I think Chicago's going to edge it out and win this game to move on to play the Atlanta Hawks, the loser of the 7-8 game, and try to make it into the NBA playoffs against the Atlanta Hawks. As for the Pelicans, Thunder, I like the Thunder. They're a young team. Shea, Josh, the 2 Jalen Williams, a couple other pieces, Trey Mann. They have a really nice young squad. But even, Pelicans without Zion, I still think the Pelicans are a way better team with C.J. McCollum, Brandon Ingram, some of their young guys like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, a couple of other guys like Larry Nance Jr. The list goes on. They're a decent team. I think the Pelicans are going to easily win this one and move on to the whatever you call that game, the game for the 8 seed against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is funny because that game, the Timberwolves and the Pelicans played each other in the last game of the season, and whoever won was going to be the 8 seed and play the Lakers in the 7-8 games. If the Pelicans would have won that game, they would have played the Lakers. The Wolves were playing the Lakers because they beat the Pelicans. So they match up again less than a week later, 5 days later, after the Timberwolves had their number on Sunday in a close one. I mean, that one would be a very hard one for the fight of the 8 seed. So the fights of the 8 seed, the Chicago Bulls and the Atlanta Hawks, and then you have the New Orleans Pelicans and the Timberwolves. I want to go with the Timberwolves. I want to go with the Pelicans, to make it as the 8 seed and to play the Nuggets. They had a great year, but I think the Timberwolves getting Gobert back, having Cat, having Ant, having a great point guard, Mike Conley, great veteran, good other guys on the team, Kyle Henderson with Rudy Gobert, and a couple other players. Naz Reid's been a beast this year. They have a really good all-around team. I think the Timberwolves are going to take care of business in the Pelicans. I think the Pelicans are going to give them some trouble, though. I think that's going to be a close one, and I think this. I got the Timberwolves moving on, playing the first seed Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs. But I will say that I do think the Timberwolves could bring some trouble for the Denver Nuggets. You got Jokic and Aaron Gordon matched up well. You'd have Gobert guarding Jokic. You'd have Karl-Anthony Towns guarding Aaron Gordon. Honestly, I don't think the Timberwolves will win that series, just in my opinion. But I think the Timberwolves could take them to 6 or 7 games. I think that if Anthony Edwards plays well, Mike Conley shoots well, plays his good point guard veteran role, the 2 centers play good defense and good offense, Naz Reid plays well, their whole team plays well, I think the Timberwolves in that series potentially against the Denver Nuggets could have a really good series against the Nuggets. I think that has to be one of their hardest matchups, besides playing the Suns, in my opinion, for the Nuggets in their playoff path. I mean, just matchuply, with matchups, I think that could be a really troubling series for the Denver Nuggets. I think they match up well with everybody. You got Conley, going against Murray. You got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope having a matchup against Anthony Edwards. That's a huge mismatch. And then you got you have Aaron Gordon having to guard Karl-Anthony Towns. He's at least, I think, 2 or 3 inches taller than Gordon. I think Gordon's like 6'9" or 6'10". Cat's like 7 foot. So yeah, that's at least 2 to 3 inches right there. And I think Naz Reid as well. I think the Wolves could bring some trouble in that series to the Denver Nuggets. Then on the Eastern Conference side, you got the Bulls and the Hawks. I think this is going to be the game that is the biggest blowout of the whole play-in tournament. I think the Bulls take care of business against the Hawks. The Hawks season is over, and the Bulls move on to play the Bucks for the second straight year in the first round. Last year, they played each other in the first round. Didn't really go their way. They lost in 5 to the Bucks last year. Do I think it gets much better for them? Not really. I think the same result will happen. Losing 5 to the Bucks, just like they did last year. But we shall see though. You guys have any thoughts on my play-in predictions? I'm excited for this stuff to start tonight. You guys give me your predictions and peace out.